Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to continue to talk about the Chainlink CCIP, which stands for Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol. It's a protocol for cross-chain messaging and token transfer. Look like this. We have an on-ramp from the source chain 1 to the off-ramp chain 2. So we are going to focus on these two contracts. And today we are going to focus on the off-ramp side, the destination side, which is going to talk to the fee quoter to update the price, but also talk to the RMN remote to verify the signature, as well as committing the message routes from the source chain over here. So first of all, let's look at the one function we're going to talk about is the off commit function, which is used to commit the roots of Merkle tree, which looks like this. So a Merkle tree basically is a bunch of message. Each message will have a hash at the leaf level, and then every two hash is going to combine to a hash on the inner parent all the way to the root. So we are not going to store the whole thing into the blockchain. We only store the root of the tree, which stands for a bunch of messages into the blockchain. So in this way, all the message can be saved offline, and we just need to check the root to verify if the message is true or not. Okay, so let's go back to the commit over here. So it's going to be executed under a particular report context and report. Both of them is going to be signed by the DON signature. First of all, we have two group of people. The first group of people is called RMN, stands for Risk Management Network. Basically, it's a contract which is RMN remote. We talked about in the last video. So that's a group of people. The second group of people is we call DON, stands for Decentralized Oracle Network, which is the signature in the off-ramp contract. Okay, so it's in the group of people are managed by this contract right here. In its parent, actually, it's the same contract. Multi OCR, it's the parent contract of the off-ramp over here. Okay, so and then this is a list of signatures, which is from RMN remote. We talked about last time. First of all, we're going to decode community report into community report, which has the following structure. Community report is right here. I have a 3 component: price updates, local routes, and then a list of RMN signature, the first group of people that I just talked about. Okay, so we're going to let the first group of people RMN to check first. So this is the roots, and then this is their signature. They check it only when you have the root to check. This is a list of roots. If the RMN is enabled. So right here we are calling the RMN remote. We talked about that contract last time. So you go back there and you take a look. Now, the first step. The second step is we're going to see if we can update the price. There are 2 kinds of price you can update: token price or gas price. We're going to do it together. But there's a update number. So this is where we update last time. So this is like the update number. We are going to provide a new update number, and this new update number must be greater strictly than the original number. So in this way, we can prevent double update, replay attack. And then if the price update is not successful, for one reason, it might be the price is already too old, the update number is already too small, then we're going to proceed with committing the roots. So So this transaction allow committing the root even the price update is not successful. But otherwise, if the price is not successful updated, and in the meanwhile, there's no root commit, then we are going to revert. Basically, nothing we can do. Okay, no price to update, and no root to commit. And here we enter into a for loop. Basically, we are going to commit one root after another. And before we do that, we are basically like usual doing a bunch of check. The first check is make sure the source chain is not disabled. And then we also make sure we check the ramp edges match the configuration of the on ramp edges. Okay, so this on ramp is the it's this one is this on ramp these edges on chain one. So we're going to make sure the edges on chain one match the configuration. So we know where basically where in this case which off ramp send this message, because all the message is going to send by the off ramp. So we match off ramp or on ramp, and I'm sorry, I'm on ramp. The third check is we are going to check the message sequence number match. So this state variable is going to remember what is the next expected sequence number. If it's not matching the mean sequence number of this tree, then it's not going to succeed. And also, we're going to make sure in the same tree, the mean sequence number must be smaller than the maximum sequence number, obviously. Otherwise, we're going to double check the Merkle root is not 0 hash. And in addition, we are going to check that it's not committed yet. So this variable give you when the root is committed for this particular substrate. Okay. So otherwise, we are going to write the time of the commitment. So this means it's committed for this particular root, so that during execution, you can check this particular root and see if it belongs to a true committed tree or not. And then we're going to increase the next expected sequence number by 1. And that by now, we already committed a root for the Merkle tree. And the next thing to do is we are going to call a transmit. It's called transmit, but really when I look at the code, it's actually just doing a second verification of the signature, which is provided by here. So this is a signature from the DON, which is another group of people. And then you're going to provide both the report context and the report. And both of them are going to be signed actually by this bunch of signatures. And when we are calling, we're going to provide that this is actually we are using the commit plugin. So the word plugin simply means they have a bunch of branch and they are going to use a different configuration. Okay, so the plugin allows some kind of configuration for the behavior of the transmit function. So in other words, the same transmit function right here is going to serve two purposes. Sometimes the transmit is for the execution. Sometimes the transmit is for the commitment. And both of them are combining one function. So this is the way they write this. Okay. So that means for each plugin, they might involve two separate committee. So you can imagine this is like the committee ID, so to speak. Okay, they call configuration, they call plugin, but when it comes to signature, it's basically two different committee. Okay, and so all these signature were coming from two different committee. So first of all, they are going to retrieve the information of the plugin, which is the get the committee information for the configuration of people. And then they're going to retrieve the configure digest so that they can match if this is the right committee, basically the right configuration, because this ID represent the configuration ID. So the configuration have to match. But before that, they are doing the scope checking. They call scope checking. Essentially, they are just calculating the expected length of the argument so that they will know it's called by the commit or by the it's called by execute or by the commit. So for example, over here, if it's called the last line, it's going to call the transmit, then they are going to calculate the length of all argument, and that's one number. But it's also going to be called by execute. You can see over here, all the way down. Execute. It's also called over here, and as you can see, the last thing is also transmit, but only other. But when you do transmit, they don't provide signature. It's empty signature, which is like this and this. So the length of this whole thing, and actually the length of the argument is here. See, this is argument, only two arguments, so it's much shorter. So based on these, they have two different kind of length, and only these two length is qualified. Other length will be disabled. So they only checking the length, they will know this function transmit is either called by execute, so to speak, or by commit, and cannot be called by other functions. I mean, that's a pretty smart way of controlling who can call this internal function. I think I have seen this for the first time. And then they also, nothing you can learn here, is they also use this modifier. I don't think it's called modifier. It's an internal function to check that if it's still remain in the same chain ID, that is different. Is the chain ID still the same, remain the same? If it's a forked, maybe it's not the same. So this will not be allowing the execution in a forked blockchain. Is only allowed to be executed in the original chain when the contract is deployed. And then the next few lines over here is just to make sure the caller. This is also another interesting authorization check. You simply check the MSG sender. It belongs to the transmitter in this data structure, and make sure all the address match. And then if the configuration require a verification signature in this implementation, they require the signature verification for commit, but they don't require signature verification for execution. If they do require the execution, if they do require verification, then they are going to make sure the number of signature is going to be exactly equal to 8+1, and then of course RS and S have to be matching, and then they are going to calculate the hash. Pay attention that they are going to hash both report and report context. So that means there's nothing we can change in report. We cannot change the report context because both of them are signed over here. So we cannot modify it. Of course, you can replay it, but not modify it. So you can only look at like a replay attack over here. And then it's going to do the verification signature, which is quite trivial, I would say. So just iterate through all the signature, get the signature, get the address of the signer, and then this loop just make sure there's no duplicate. The essentially they use a bitmap over here. The maximum number of signer is only 255, 256, I would say. So they're using one variable called a sign, which takes 256 bits. So every bit will represent one signer. If it's set 1, that means you already signed it. And if not, then you have not signed it. So using that, you can detect duplicate over here. So it's just a very normal way of checking duplicate using the bitmap. So that's how they check the signature. And then once they check the signature, then everything passed, then you immediately see event, record what configuration is used, record what is the execution environment, and actually just one execution environment, which is the price update number over here. And then, who is the caller? Essentially, this one is the caller. You can know it's by commitment or by execution based on what plugin is used over here. Okay. So this plugin basically is combined two versions of transmit into one function. So it's a polymorphism basically. Right. So that's very much for the commitment. So next time probably we'll talk about execution, especially manual execution and automated execution. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.